Hello everybody, Cody here. Today I'm going to show you guys very easily how you can turn any image on the internet into a texture roller the proper way. I'm going to show you a few ways you can do this, but first we're just going to tackle it the most simplest way to do this, okay? So the first thing I want you to do is start by making a plane, and then what we're going to do is add just a cylinder on top of it, and we're going to make it a little bit bigger. Then what I want you to do is click rotation and then just rotate it onto its side. If you hold control, you can just snap it onto its side. Next thing you want to do is select the plane, go into edit mode, and we're going to subdivide this just a couple times for now. So something like that should work fine. And then we're going to go to our modifiers. We're going to go to add search, and then we're going to go to simple deform. What we're going to do from here is set the angle to negative 360. That way it wraps the opposite way around. We're going to set our axis to Y, and then we're going to set it to bend. Take this eyedropper tool and then click your cylinder. Now once that's finished, you'll notice that you got like half of the cylinder here. That's just because we don't have enough subdivisions on it. From this, you can actually just hide your cylinder up in the top hierarchy. Just click the little eyeball and it'll disappear. Now you can go back into edit mode. You'll still see the subdivided plane laid out flat, but then you'll have your mesh still in a circle. So now if we just keep adding our subdivisions, you'll notice that it keeps adding more resolution. Okay, say we have something like that, and that's how we want it. The next thing we need to do is actually add a solidify modifier. So we're going to hit search again, and we're just going to add a solidify, and that's just going to give us some thickness around the edge and make this as thick as you want by increasing the little button down there on the bottom. And this is the only modifier that we're going to apply in the meantime. So hit the big check mark that's right there to just make sure that's bound right into the mesh there. Okay. So the next thing we can do is actually start unwrapping, and we're going to start painting our texture on. So what you can do is click this little monitor icon right here next to simple deform, and each time you press that, it's actually going to lay the plane flat. So every time you turn that back on, it's going to rewrap it. So that's going to allow you to preview things a lot easier. So a lot of people have problems with when they're doing texture rollers that the detail comes out on the back. I'm going to show you how you can only paint on the front faces. So we're going to start with that first. The next thing we want to do is go to top-down view, so we have the whole angle of our face. We're going to go to face select mode up in the top corner, select anywhere to deselect all of the faces, and then just click to drag them all. You'll know you did it right if you tilt your view, and then you only have those few, faces on the top selected, and everything else is just dark and unselected. Okay, next thing we can do is actually start painting our texture, so you can use any image from Google if you want. So we're just going to go over into sculpt mode, but the first thing you actually want to do first is go up into face sets in the corner, and then you want to click this button that says face sets from edit mode selection, and that should turn green. But even if you did start painting now, you will notice that it does bleed through the back, and that's because we didn't tell the brush not to go through the face sets. So if you open up any brush, you just click your tool in the sidebar there. You want to go to advanced and then just enable face sets. So now anytime you paint on this face set, you'll notice that it doesn't come through the back. That's because we only have the front faces selected. And if you wanted to preview your wrap, you could just click that monitor icon, and you'll notice that we got a really good start to cylinder so far. But I'm going to show you how you can add your own image to this. So let's just unpreview wrap that again. I'm just going to go back and delete all of these faces. And then what we're going to do from here is you can choose any brush and add a texture to it. So in this case, we're just going to use the blob brush just for the tutorial's sake. What we're going to do from here is the same bar where we enabled the face sets. We're going to go to texture. We're going to go to new, click the little pill icon here, hit open, and then what we're going to do is find the image that we want to import here. So I have a client that wants me to do sakura leaf stencil. So what we also have to do is go to our texture here, and then we have to click this area plane, make it stencil. You'll see it pop up in the bottom corner of your screen. Right click to drag it, hold control drag to rotate, and shift drag or right click drag to make it bigger. So position that how you want it, and resolution does matter. So if we go back into edit mode with those faces selected, you'll notice that we have squares. So what we want to do is click face up here and then triangulate these to get a much higher resolution. And you can keep subdividing that, and as you see, that did split all of those little squares. So now what we can do is actually go back into skull mode. Just make sure that your face set is selected again. Make sure your strength is a little bit lower, and then what you can do is actually start stamping your image into the clay. The more subdivisions you have, the better this will come out. And you can use dynamic topology as well, but you cannot use the face sets if you are using dynamic topology. So if you're only trying to do it on one side, I recommend that you just do it this way. If not, you can go up into the top corner here, enable dynamic topology. That way you only have the multi-resolution on your brush. Just make sure all of these are nice and defined. And you can still preview wrap this, it's just you can't have dynamic topology on when you unwrap it, so that's another downfall to doing it that way. So now, for example, if I went into my modifiers and enabled the monitor mode, you'll notice that we can preview our wrap that we have. And if I click and move our stencil out of the way, you'll notice that we have a really good texture roller so far. So if I were to roll that over clay, it would definitely show the design. But as you see, we do have a slight error here. So this is also why I left this on here, so we can change the limits here at the bottom. So if you grab this one, you can actually change its position, and we just kind of want to make that one below what it started. That way it's a nice even roller, so 0.99 works the best. And as you see, we rarely have a crease. And you can go on the bottom and clean that up if you want, and change it from an area plane to another tile as well, in case you want to paint it that way. But this is a really good way to make a texture roller, and you can do this with pretty much anything. And again, you can just unwrap it if you don't like that texture, or if you wanted to go ahead and add smaller sakura leaves, you can even just take the same stencil, drag this around, just add some more leaves into your scene. That looks pretty good, right? And then what we can do is preview our wrap. So if I go ahead and I wrap it, now we have a texture roller. Now if I were to go ahead and print that would also come out really, really well. And it would roll our texture good. And I'm going to show you another thing you can do too. So if we unwrap this and we go all the way back, if you go up at the top to where this brush shows the plus, it's add and subtract. So you can add depth or subtract the depth of your stencil. So if I go back down from top down view, if I were to add this now, you'll notice that that's vastly different than the impression that we had prior. So if you're using a texture roller, I recommend doing it this way, that the way the impression sticks out like so. And then when you wrap it again, you will have a texture roller, and that will have that protruded. So if you're looking to do it that way instead of having it as an impression, that's the way you want to do it. So for example, again, if I went into my smooth tool and then I just kind of erased a section of this, right? So if you look at this, that's impressed into the tile. So what we want to do is make that kind of pop out so it digs into clay. So what we want to do is go back into that sculpt mode. So we'll go back to the brush where we had our stencil. We'll go back down to our top-down view. And then we can start clicking in our sakura leaf again. It's recommended to use a black and white image when you do this, but most images do work, and you can get some pretty surprising results from it as well. And now when I remove that, you'll see that that has full depth on it, and if I were to go ahead and wrap that up, you'll notice that it wraps really well. And it's perfect too, right? So there's no like going around the thing, and each part's a different depth, you know? It's all equal. So this is, I find, is the best method for doing this, and you don't got that bleeding on the back. But if you wanted to have that bleeding on the back, and you didn't want to add so many resolutions to the face sets, you could just do this with dynamic topology, but you'll get that bleeding on the back. But all these other methods work the same. But thank you for tuning in. I hope this helped you. Please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.